Okay, Romanian deadlifts. Now these are one of my favorite hamstring exercises. Yes, they work for hamstrings, a little bit of the glute max, a little bit of erector spinae in the lower back. One of my favorite over like a traditional deadlift or a traditional sumo deadlift when you're a beginner / intermediate lifter, because there's a little bit more margin for error. And in saying that, it's not an erroneous kind of exercise. It's just that if you get the traditional deadlift or the sumo deadlift wrong in terms of technique, there can be a big ramification for injury to the lower back or the tweaking the hammies. So what you'll need for the exercise, I've got a couple of dumbbells here. If you're working out from home, I've got some resistance bands and a duffel bag full of weight, which I'll show you an example towards the end of the video. The focus on this exercise, I'll do it facing you just to start off with, is essentially you want your hips over your knees, over your feet. Unlike a squat where you're going sideways, Romanian deadlift, you want essentially a straight line. We don't want any real variation in terms of knees flaring out or ankles flaring out, because that'll put excess pressure on the lower back as well as the hamstrings and on the knees. So you'll be holding the dumbbells. My face isn't looking up towards the camera. It's not looking down. It's just my face is just going to be moving naturally with my spine. So facing you, holding dumbbells, pushing my hips back, going down, not too far, then straight back up. So sideways view, I want you to focus on, rather than going downwards towards your feet, I want you to focus on your hips going backwards first. Hips going backwards, neutral spine, so I don't want you to overarch your spine when you're lifting. I don't want you to overarch your spine as well and pretend like you're going to the toilet. That's more of a squat technique. With the Romanian deadlift, it's just hips going backwards, face not looking forward. If my face is looking forward, it's going to put a bit of an arch in my lower back, and it can lead to tweaking that lower back. So face just looking down, looking normal, hips backwards, up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, up. So hips going back, 1, 2, 3, neutral spine, up. I'll do it with some dumbbells now. Hips over knees over feet. Hips back, going down, keeping the weights close to the shin. That's very important. So the weights itself, they're not going outwards like this. They're not like covering the back here. They're going very close on the downwards trend towards and almost touching your shins. So down, hips back, going down, neutral spine, up. So when we're on the way up as well, so we're going down, down and down, very slow, very controlled, and then up, really feeling that glute squeeze. You really want to develop a really solid mind-muscle connection when you're doing this exercise. So what I mean by that is I want you to really focus on that glute and hamstring squeeze when you're on the way up. Now, if we're working out from home, I've got some resistance bands. You've seen these all over Facebook probably. Pop these underneath your feet, like so. Find a spot where it's a lot of tension towards the middle of the shin. Essentially with the Romanian deadlift, including the dumbbells, you don't want the weight itself to go further than halfway down your shin. If it's touching towards your ankles, it's probably a little bit too far. We're now talking about another exercise altogether. So this is why it's such a great little exercise, because you don't have to go down too far. Again, it's more focused on that hips going backwards. So resistance bands for anyone who's working out from home. You'll step on it, pick it up towards halfway through the shin. Hips over knees over feet. 1, 2, 3, up, and that side angle. 1, 2, hips backwards, neutral spine, up. And those who are working out from home, you've got your duffel bag full of books, slash filled up water bottles, milk cartons, hips over knees, over feet, pushing that your hips backwards, keeping the weight really close towards your shins. Neutral spine, not looking forward, not looking down, but just on the downwards trend. 1, 2, 3, 4, up. Really feeling that glute and hamstring squeeze. 1, 2, 3, up. Beautiful. So if you're finding that the exercise itself is too hard, what I'll get you to do is I'll get you to film yourself doing the exercise, shoot it through to me, and we'll see if we can correct any form techniques. If you're finding the exercise is a little bit too easy, increase the weight that you're holding on to, as well as really focus on that speed. 3-4 seconds down, then 1 second up, without jerking your back, obviously. There is also another variation called the single leg Romanian Deadlift, and I'll create another video for that now.